So, during the pandemic, instead of doom scrolling, I did a lot of looking at the Library of Congress newspaper database. And I found a story, and I found the story almost exactly 150 years to the day that it happened. And it was in the Memphis Daily Appeal, and it was from August 28, 1872. And it was the title that really got me. It was called Praiseworthy. An intelligent and prompt Negro, a railroad disaster averted. And on this 100th anniversary of us celebrating Black history in this country, I'd like to tell you this story. As the Memphis and Louisville train, which left here at 3:30 o'clock, was thundering along near Oak Hill, about 40 miles from the city, the engineer espied a red flag which was being waved energetically across the track. On stopping the train, it was learned that during the storm of wind which had just before taken place, a tree had been blown across the tracks. A Negro named Phil McBride had set to work manfully to chop the tree away. And in order to run no risk of an accident, he sent another Negro down the track with a baby's red flannel petticoat to signal the oncoming train whenever it came in sight. The train was on the other side, the tree was on the other side of a big curve in the road. And if it hadn't been for the prompt action of the colored man McBride, the train would have dashed on it at full speed and probably been wrecked with a great loss of life. The train was in charge of that prince of conductors, Captain Bob Lawther, whose good fortune in escaping smash-ups and always being on time is proverbial along the road. The railroad company should reward the colored man McBride for the feelings of humanity, which prompted him to avert what might otherwise have proved a serious disaster. Wow. I love that story. But you know what makes that story really special? Is that it's about my great-great-grandfather. I knew about him before I found that story. I first became aware of him when I came across his bill of sale, where he was sold into slavery in 1847 at the tender age of 16 for $650 to a man named D.G. McBride. I was so frustrated that people went by initials back then because it took me a long time to figure out who he was. But I found him, and because of that, I'm one of the few black people that can say that they found an ancestor on a slave schedule. Why is that rare? Because our ancestors were not listed by name on these slave schedules. There he is right there. 18. This is 1850. I also found him on the 1860 slave schedule. And I was like, come on, man. Hang in there. It's almost over. Then I picked him up in 1872, like I just told you about, where he saved the train from crashing. After what he had been through, he could have been like, let me get some popcorn and sit down and watch this train full of white folks crash. No, he didn't do that. And I wouldn't have done that either. Fast forward to 1915, I found an article about him in the Nashville Globe, a black newspaper of the time. And it talks about him being a blacksmith and moving his shop from one place to another, and that he hopes his many friends will come and patronize him at the new location on the flippin' farm. The flippin' farm. But 5 years later, he passed away. 1920. This is his death certificate. And it says here that he's probably 100. Wow. That's amazing. But there's more. My theory is that because he saved that train from crashing, he became kind of a celebrity. Because it wasn't just an article in this paper. You know how they pick up, other newspapers pick up an interesting story. He was in 2 other papers. I think he had a portrait taken because of that incident. So I have a photo of him right as he looked when he saved that train. Would you like to see it? So let me formally introduce you to my great-great-grandfather, Mr. Phil McBride. I know some of you are thinking, who is that white man? This just goes to show you, you could be light, you could be bright, you could be half white, but you could still be enslaved in America. So I want to say, extra, extra, read all about it. Praiseworthy. Extra, extra, read all about it. Praiseworthy. Extra, extra, read all about it. Phil McBride is praiseworthy. He was intelligent and prompt, things that I like to consider myself to be. Extra, extra, read all about it. Praiseworthy. Thank you.